Man, I look at some of those pictures and videos in our open now. We was looking cold in football season. We had the toboggans on. Yeah, I had the toboggan on.
Dude, like I got all this this natural insulation that plenty of eating has done for me. Dude, I'm never cold.
You live in the South now too. You live in the South. True. So
I used to have
don't rub it in
the winter, like blowing into my room in college at Northwestern. You know how the lake effect wind is at Northwestern. Christina
inside
hated
the dorm,
me for so long. She would never stay the night with me in my dorm, my now wife, because I used to have the fan in the wintertime in the window blowing into our room. I like my room frigid. But
yep. We it's been a long while because we've had some spring break stuff. Kids have started into the spring sports and everything. So we have a lot to get to today. But since you brought it up, my wife grew up in the South in Tampa. She's from Ohio, but they moved to the Tampa area when she was 5. So she if it's under 90, she's cold. Now, I have 3 fans in my room. I have a box fan, a fan on my dresser, and the ceiling fan that run all the time. And if it gets below 70 degrees outside overnight, the windows are also open if the air's not on. So that's how I like to roll. And then if you happen to give me one of those hotel rooms when I'm out at a stay somewhere, and they got the old school, like the old ass
hotel where the dial,
where you can see your breath, man. You'll have to ask my uncle one time about our golf trip when neither of us wanted to get out of bed. We had the covers all up to our chin.
I do. It's the best to cover up. In the cold.
It feels so good. I want to see my breath. Like that's how I want to sleep at night.
The one thing I get mad when I go into the room and they got it on like a balmy 73, go straight to the dial, all the way down, as low as it goes.
As low as it goes, 62 most of the time. One of my best friends, best man at my wedding, we went to Vegas last August. You know Vegas in August. It's 115 degrees. Staying at Planet Hollywood. And I just told you how I like my hotel room, right? I was ready to fight. Like, I thought that he touched the air conditioner. I got up. I went to bed before him one night, and he went out walking. And I get up in the middle of the night. Trey, no lie, my pillow is soaked because I'm sweating so much. Like we did a pool day that day. I go over because they mess with those air conditionings in those hotels anyways. Like you can only get it so cold in the newer ones. They like shut it off. For whatever reason, it was at 81.
Dude, I hate it when they shut it off. Like, dude, wake up in the middle of the night in a cold sweat.
Yeah.
I can't stand it.
Man, I thought it was him. So he woke up because I was in the bathroom shoving the bars of soap in a pillowcase about to sock the shit out of him because I thought he touched we about had it out. I was like, we're never sharing a room again. I'm getting a different place tonight. He was like, I didn't do it.
Speaking of traveling, though, like, we got our travel buddy, tuned in for the show. But every time, like, this eclipse thing was kind of wild, man. Did you get a glimpse of the eclipse?
A glimpse. I mean, I got a glimpse. Everybody made a big deal about it. It was like dusk. It was like playing around in golf as the sun's going down is what we got. It was nothing. It was nothing.
Dude, they travel far and wide. They apparently Indianapolis was one of the places where they were going to get like close to 100% totality, if not 100%. So my old stomping grounds, and I heard it was like the 4th biggest city in the country on eclipse day because people were coming from far and wide to catch a 3-minute.
Yeah.
Findlay, no, Indianapolis. Well, and Findlay, I heard like jumped. It was like
we know several people who went up to the Findlay area and they got 3.5 minutes of. Listen, the jokes write themselves for me. When you tell me, we got 3.5 minutes of darkness, I'm like, how many kids are going to be named after planets in the next 9 months? Did you use your 3.5 minutes wisely?
Dude. So, and look, I'm not making fun because I get it. It's not my cup of tea. It's a cool event. But dude, I tuned into the news because I didn't know, we didn't have, at least me and my wife did not have the special eclipse glasses that you're supposed to have. I was up there just trying to look with like regular glasses, almost blinding myself. But then I went on the news to see what else was happening in the rest of the country. And apparently in Russellville, Arkansas, they had this massive wedding. Like 300 couples got married at the eclipse. Like they got married with other strangers. And so,
oh yeah,
like
they had a music festival. We talked in my day job at the radio station last week. We talked to astrophysicist came on the show I was producing. They had some music festival. They were like timing it up for when it got dark in Arkansas, like in the same area of Arkansas. Had to be like the most popular thing in Arkansas ever in the history of Arkansas.
I've been to Arkansas, John Daly, man, and they do love their football there. I will say that. But other than that,
and like, John Daly.
And dude, but this eclipse thing was wild. Like it might be the most overhyped 3 minutes ever. And that's something to say, because I put myself on a good 3 minutes. Like that's what I do. I give you 3 minutes of
that's all I'm
pure
giving
excitement.
You. That's all I got. Listen,
but this even exceeded my standards of just overhyping what something can provide. They're like, my son is
a walking testament to what a good 3 minutes can do in this world for anybody out there. So
create a whole human. That's more of a miracle.
How many people did Mike Tyson knock out in less than 3 minutes?
This is true.
I mean,
this is a lot can happen.
We got 45 seconds in Ohio, and it didn't even, like in my area of Ohio, and it didn't even get completely dark. It was just dusk enough for the solar lights to come on the streets, and then you blinked and it was gone, and it was getting light out again.
But it was kind of cool to see like some of the science, because the nerd in me was intrigued for those 3 minutes, and like we got like that brief where the temperature dropped for like 5 to 7 degrees, a little bit cooler. And I'm like, oh, that's cool, the moon. And so my question I asked the Twitter, like, what do flat earthers think is going on like right now? Like, is it like some big conspiracy? Is like the moon flat too? Like, I was legit curious. Like, to each their own as far as what you believe. Like, I mean,
we'll ask one because we have Kyrie Irving coming on the program today.
Oh, nice.
No, not really. But it's just as real as the Earth being flat is the possibility of Kyrie Irving coming on with us today to talk about the eclipse.
So, and apparently one of my former students, Le'Veon Bell, is a flat earther, or at least is.
He went to my high school. You talk about him being a former Steeler. He went to my high school. So,
we both got a connection.
Yeah, we're both.
I blame you. I blame you in your high school. Then you guys are teaching bad stuff up there. Apparently.
No, it was sometime between then Michigan State and some of his shenanigans of thinking he was a rapper is what I'm going to put it up to. But what Le'Veon can do is he knocked the hell out of Adrian Peterson, didn't he? Who did he box? Was it Adrian Peterson?
Dude, not to go too far off on the tangent, but that actually surprised me. I know Le'Veon's a big boy. Like, have you ever seen him in person? He is not what you consider a normal size running back. He's like 6'3", 245. And Adrian Peterson, he had like this aura about him. Like he has like the strongest handshake ever known to
like
man.
His forehead looks 6'3" and 225.
Right. And so like in the way he runs so angrily. So you thought maybe it would have been a more evenly matched up match. And so, but not at all. It's like Le'Veon laid the wood to Adrian Peterson. And so
in less than 3 minutes?
I don't know. It might have been right around.
All I know is he laid him out.
Yeah.
That was good. Dude. I don't even remember where we're at now. My juvenile mind is just going all over the place. But we have a lot. So March Madness wrapped up. There's some stuff there. There's some football stuff. You have some basketball questions. One other thing we got into. So we are big fans, right? We've almost got a creed we live by, with one of our favorite quotes is when my guy Bert Kreischer talks about I'm always going to stay healthy enough to be able to drink. and he just tears up. We played it on the podcast a while ago.
Right.
And one thing I got to do, took the wife out in Columbus. I got to meet the man, Trey, when he was in town.
Looks like y'all already getting after it. He looks like he's having way more fun than you are. Why don't you smile, man? Why don't you smile?
I'm just not a happy moment. I'm just not a smiler. I didn't know what to do with my hands. But on the table behind my wife there was my glass of Tito's.
Was it mostly Tito's? Was it mixed with like a tonic or something?
There was a little bit of soda water in there.
Okay, a little bit of soda water.
Yeah, the little green room area had some beverages. So we went, man, my face hurt watching this show. I was dying watching this show last weekend when he was here. But yeah, still one of the people I would most like to just hang out with and drink every evening with if I could is Bert Kreischer.
We have to wait until when though before we have our next.
So go ahead and let the people know because we're laying down the rules.
We are, man.
I'm letting you bestow the rules upon me because you're going to be the one to hold me accountable. Because also taking place in the meantime is I've been fitted for my CPAP machine trying to get my sleep
there's
right.
no shame in having a CPAP. There's no at this stage in life, you're about to approach your 40. This is your 39th year coming up in August, right? Your 39th birthday.
Yep.
And so you turn 40 next year. I am firmly in the 40s. I'm 41 now. And so there are things
that's not firmly. You're fresh.
No, not firmly. It's a whole year into the 40s. I am now into my 42nd year on this earth. And so I am I can't even see the 30s anymore. They're a year away. But health is wealth, baby. And we got to get ready for this summer. And the big man get in shape so that we can put on baby oil for the beach. Workout plan is now in effect. And so part of that is that we got to cut back on the libations because it's not the libations themselves that get you in trouble, right?
It's the amount
it's what
of
you
them.
do. It's not even the amount of them. It is what you do while the things you snack on, what you have to do to hope for a better morning the next morning after taking said libations to the face over and over. You have to drink a ton of water and you got to eat something greasy, cheesy, and probably something sweet to make yourself feel good.
Just to get back after it. It's either that or just jump straight right back into the libations, which is also a problem. Or both, which is the ultimate problem.
Right. So we are cutting back on the happy drinks.
Is Max going to do this with us? Are we going to get a hold of Max?
He's already doing it. We'll bring Max in on the next episode, and I'm sure he'll partake because we kind of go back and forth trying to keep each other accountable as we're going on this health journey. But yeah, man.
Because if we're going to transition from the Bang Bang Girth gang into the smooth, svelte, and smash and pelt tribe. We got to make sure.
We will be smooth and svelte, but we will still be rounded and mounded. You know, and so we might be less round, but we will still maintain the title of Round Town. Dang, I'm messing up my own saying.
Round Mound of Pound Town.
The Round Mound of Pound Town. Goodness gracious.
We will still be rounded and mounded.
Exactly.
Because what we don't want is, even though I'm not gonna lie, I look damn sexy in this, and the how it looks so close together, it's just uncanny. It's just
CPAP. For those who have sleep apnea and do not want to get a CPAP machine, look how cool that guy looks.
Talk to me, Goose. Talk to me, Goose.
You'll be in the third installment of Top Gun looking like that. It's beautiful.
Be in the fighter jet in my dreams.
Well, what this is going to do, it's going to get us right, man. I'm going to get back to my tight end days.
Look at you. Look at him. That's pre-chicken sandwich tray. Did you ever tell the chicken sandwich story here?
That was during chicken sandwiches. Chicken sandwiches were happening. They just hadn't stuck to me yet.
Right before this picture, chicken sandwiches happened.
Immediately after. Two of them. Two doubles.
Oh,
but
hey, look at you.
That was my freshman year, man.
That's why you're always getting on me about smiling, is because you're always smiling.
I'm always smiling, man.
Look at you. You got the $1 million smile. I've got the.
You got a good smile, man. Don't sell yourself short.
Oh, it's a crooked smile, but
Nevertheless,
we
but that's
are
where
going to
we
commit
are.
to this. We are going to commit to this because my wife gets mad all the time, right? I tell her, "Yeah, man, I'm almost 50." She's like, "You are not almost 50 years old." I'm like, "But I'm closer to 50 than I am 25." So
This is,
we
dude.
got to change it.
I am at the halfway point. This is 41. If I lived to 82, that's a great life, But this is the halfway point.
Until you get
I'm
to
gonna get myself
78,
right.
and then you're like, "Oh, maybe I need to rethink this."
Yeah, just take me now. If I'm out here and I don't have my faculties about me,
you can be in good shape playing pickleball. Playing pickleball at 78. Then you're gonna be like, "Oh, I've only got 3 years left. I don't want to go now."
I'll get that 5:45 tea time, like all the old folks be doing. It'll be done.
Done by 9 a.m.
Be done by 9 a.m. Have my dinner
breakfast
by 3.
At the wigwam.
Have my breakfast by 3 p.m. That's a day right there.
Now, I'm just letting you know right now, I'm going to leave it to you to hold me accountable because you're going to get lots of sales jobs for me. I'm going to be trying to, what if I just do this? Do I have to give up the booze and the delicious goodness of the you're going to be sick of me. You're going to be sick of me. You're going to be like, just shut the hell up.
No,
you're like my sponsor.
I'm all about, I will be your fat man sponsor. Fatty McFats.
You're going to get a call at 1:30 a.m. like, hey, they just bought cookies, Trey. I'm about to get after these cookies.
Did you
they
say
came home with cookies. Like, oh, we're going out of town for a softball tournament for a week. Do I get a hall pass? I don't want nothing to do with any other women. I go to sleep at night drooling. It's not women. My wife's looking at me. She's probably thinking about women. No, peanut butter cups. That's where it's at right there.
That is your thing? Peanut butter cups?
Oh, I love me some Reese cups.
Okay. You have a sweet tooth, dude. And mine is salty, cheesy, greasy, and crunchy. Like chips, cheese, like deep fried, all of it.
Chips,
I love it all.
Chips and a little hell of a good French onion dip.
So
fries with cheese and bacon on it.
We're not helping ourselves right now. We got to get out to a good start.
We're about to
start out. We might not make it to
pour a drink right now.
But we are committed to this. At least I'm all about starting small. One thing, change one thing in your diet that you can. And so I think I can do with alcohol, especially it makes it a little bit easier with our kids being as active as they are. So it's a good time to do it, especially.
I think I'm gonna start with pop soda for all you Southerners. And thanks, Travel Buddy. I appreciate you chiming in. You guys can chime in on the comments too, whether you're on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, whatever you're doing. Let me live vicariously through you. Send Trey and I your favorite treats, your favorite snacks, your vices, if you will. And I promise this is not going to lead to smoking 2 packs of cigarettes a day for me, like everybody else who does.
Dude, I asked a question the other day about what is a snack that is supposed to be just for your kids, but you end up dubbing your. Did we talk about that the last show?
Yeah, we did. Okay. Yeah, that was on the last show.
Dude,
because we went goldfish. Goldfish was one of those.
It was definitely goldfish. Yeah. So
I'll have to find some little oranges and apples and something to cure my sweet tooth. But I'm gonna start with no more pop. That's gonna be the first thing to go. I guess sweet tea. So I can drink iced tea, but it can't be sweet tea. I think that's okay.
Or just get like the diet version, the Lipton diet, or not. Dude, you ever had the green tea diet? Lipton green tea is pretty good.
I had the green tea shots, the little chilled green. Not helping my case again.
This is gonna be tough. This is gonna be tough. This is like a big old piece of granite that I gotta chisel away every day.
Man.
But it's all good. Man.
Now that that's out of the way, let's get into some of the sports talk because we had to catch up. We had some catching up to do.
Yeah, like we were mentioning, March Madness just happened, and this is the first year, dude, that the women's tournament, especially the Elite Eight, was more exciting to watch than the men's. And
let's talk overhyped. We were talking overhyped Eclipse. Let's get into some of that right now because it was probably very anticlimactic. I think everybody, for the first time in a long time on the men's side, the 2 teams that everybody thought were the best teams all year long were the ones who ended up
It was definitely anticlimactic. Yes. Yes. And actually, you thought, at least I thought, with the advent of NIL and the Blue Bloods not necessarily getting the McDonald's All-Americans every year, that it would be a little bit more parity this year. We would have more upsets, and that wasn't the case this year at all. The favorites, for the most part, won out. And like you said, the two favorite teams in Purdue and UConn made it. And UConn, who everybody thought was going to win it, which almost never really happens, dominated the entire tournament. Like it wasn't even. It was impressive to see, but it made for a less than exciting men's March Madness.
Well, and you know who thanks you? You know who thanks them for that is my gambling accounts. Because hold on. Congratulations are in order as well. You hit you some bets.
Oh, I did.
Thanks to the women's tournament. Thanks to the women's tournament.
No, not like it was a women's tournament and women's tennis. Like
yes,
the ladies came through for me, man. And so I think keep that good trend going because I do watch a good amount of ladies tennis, and it's pretty exciting. And so now that I know FanDuel will publish some women's tennis bets, I'm all over it. Maybe a sign of a true degenerate, but hey, as long as it's winning me some money.
Because I piggybacked your bet and I won too, so I was happy. I was like,
in secret too. In secret, didn't even let me know.
I couldn't even tell you. I screenshotted it to you afterwards, just like, hey, I like where your head's at right now. But we had done a lot of times before where we'll put our heads together on a bet. I'll piggyback it and we'll talk about it. I'm like, no, we're changing the juju up. I'm not going to tell you until after it's done. I'm watching South Carolina.
Either way we went, dude, I had
final.
I had no juju. I had negative juju at that. There was nothing that you could have did to give me worse juju, whether you told me or whether you did it. So I'm just glad that it came through and we probably won. So,
oh, it was a good feeling. Got a few bullets in the account, but let's reverse back because before the South Carolina, let's talk women's basketball, okay?
Yeah,
I think there's a level of everybody's always on one end or the other. It's got to be the highest. I hate hyperbole. And it's got to be greatest ever or most insignificant piece of trash ever or just can't do anything right. Let me ask you, why can't we just accept Caitlyn Clark for being a good women's basketball player? One of the greatest women's basketball players? Why does the conversation have to turn to how many points would she score in an NBA or she should go to the NBA? It's like stuff like that. It drives me nuts when you have to take it to that level because it's like the boy who cried wolf, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're saying something so outlandish and outrageous, it's kind of diminishing what she was to her sport. Make no bones about this. This is being recorded right now. I think Caitlyn Clark is a phenomenal women's basketball player. If Caitlyn Clark was to try to play a game in the NBA and an NBA player or team really decided that they wanted to play her as tough as they could, she would not even get a shot off in a game. Wouldn't even happen unless it's in garbage time.
And let me preface it too. Caitlyn Clark, what she did this year and last year has been absolutely amazing for the sport.
Yes.
It's been absolutely amazing for Iowa. It's been absolutely amazing for any fan of competitive sports because like I said, was more in tune with the women's tournament this year than I was with the men's. And this is the first time that's happened. Last year, it was kind of even. But this year, I mean, it's what she brought to the game. She brought legit star power to the game of women's basketball. And not to say that there weren't ladies who did it before. The Diana Taurasi's, the Maya Moore.
She's the most marketable one that we've seen, right? Her and Angel
She's the most marketable because she took a team in Iowa that was not a blue blood by any standard in the women's college basketball scene. They've been competitive over the years, but they've never been this good. And she took a team, and usually you hear about the same four teams every year or so. You hear about UConn, you hear about Tennessee, you hear about now with Don Staley of South Carolina, you hear about Stanford, and then every now and then you get a good team like Texas A&M who won a national championship a few years back, or LSU. And so, but for the most part, I mean, it's not any different in college basketball,
right?
But usually that's where all the star women go, the ones that make names for themselves that go on to have successful WNBA careers. And so what Caitlyn did was unique, and it was the timing was excellent because she's been doing it for a long time. She's doing it when NIL is at its peak, and she's been marketable in college. She's probably going to take a pay cut to go to. She is taking a pay cut to go to the WNBA. I guarantee.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
But what she did this year was nothing less than
it's still impressive.
It was, amazing.
It's still impressive. It's amazing.
But
let's also be honest. She's as a player. What makes her so marketable? She's Grayson Allen. Remember Grayson Allen at Duke? Everybody, he's tripping people. He's flopping. He's kind of the bad guy that everybody loved to hate. That was Caitlyn Clark this year, and she ran with it. She played that villain role great, which kudos to her. Like, they were both phenomenal in their own regard. Like, Grayson Allen, one of the better players to come through Duke in the past decade.
I don't think I would go that far. Grayson Allen, I don't think that's a good comp. I think from a skill perspective, I think what she did for the tournament and for the game, I think it was more Steph Curry-ish, and that's her greatest comp right now because of how she shoots, right? But what Steph Curry
I don't mean her skill set. I mean her marketability. What she did for the sport. Like, perfect example. Running into a fan that's storming the court after they lose and flopping and claiming you got run over, and her coach going, like, all these things were moments that it was just brilliant. It made her more marketable, right? It made people hate her more, which people love to hate. They hate as good as they love. And that was brilliant. Like, it takes nothing away from her. I think actually as a player, I think she's probably the closest thing we've ever seen female wise to Allen Iverson. Like, as a player.
Yeah. And compared to her peers. I agree.
Yes.
And no, like, that's what I agree with you. The hyperbolic statements that are being put out there. I had a good buddy, a former teammate of mine on Facebook, saying that she could play in the NBA because he's seen NBA players get open shots before and she could knock those down. No, it's a different game, man. It's just a different game. And it's like, we just need to stop, like you said. And so, perfect example, one of the GOATs, one of the greatest athletes of all time is a woman. And it's Serena Williams. Serena Williams is on a lot of people's Mount Rushmores of greatest athletes. And it's not because she could beat a man at tennis. It's because she was the greatest of her sport, or at least one of the greatest.
Yeah.
There was Steffi Graf and Martina Navratilova. And
in her field.
Margaret Court and all those great tennis players. And you can play the clip right here. She herself tells you that she can't compete with the men's game, and that's okay.
Men's tennis and women's tennis are completely almost two separate sports. So I'm like, if I were to play Andy Murray, I would lose 6-0, 6-0 in 5 to 6 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, because it's true. It's
honestly,
true. It's a completely different sport. The men are a lot faster, and they serve harder, they hit harder. It's just a different game, and I love to play women's tennis, and I only want to play girls because I don't want to be embarrassed. I would not do the tour. I wouldn't do Billie Jean any justice. So Andy, stop it.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna let you kill me.
I'm with you.
And that was her with Letterman many, many years ago. But they actually, whether it was her or Venus, there was I'd have to look up the story, and I can probably Google it real quick, but they went out and played like the 114th ranked. They went out and played like the 114th ranked male in the world.
What's going on, man? Hold on.
And when they went out there, played the.
Rody. That's odd. All right. Gotta go old school. This technology is messing up, man.
The headphones are dead.
Yeah, they must be dead. But can you hear me?
So, anyways, yeah, I can hear you. I heard you the whole time. So what I was going to say is, I don't remember if it was her or Venus, but a while ago, one of them played like the 110th or 115th ranked male tennis player in the world at the time, and he smoked her. I mean, we're not even talking about a top 100. And it's not to slight them. Like, people look at it, you're just hating on women. No, I'm just saying what it is. Like, Caitlyn Clark, as a basketball player, her skill set in her lane, in her field, right? Mm-hmm. Her skill set is like what Allen Iverson was at the time. she's a volume shooter. She's a volume scorer. She can handle the ball. She can get some assists. She can do a lot of things. But at the end of the day, she's not going to be able to be that in the men's game because you're not going to get 30 shots a game. And again, just the athleticism is so different that you're not going to get open looks and open shots. The female game also, and this is where I'll give the female game props. They run so many sets. It's so fundamentally sound and fun to watch sometimes. The female game is. Now you got no microphone. But the female game is so fundamentally sound. And there you go. And so the female game is so fundamentally sound. They make the right pass. They move the ball around the right way. But analytics hasn't even fully caught up to the female game yet. Because right now, it's still, you remember Pee Wee football when it was sweep left, sweep right, and halfback dive, get the ball into the hands of the best player on the field?
Right.
That's what women's basketball is a lot of time right now. It's make the fundamental play and keep the balls in the hands of the best player on the court. And again, she's great in her lane, but we don't have to take it to this point of should she jump to the NBA.
Yeah, I don't want anybody to think that we're misogynistic pigs and we don't think, no. We just understand that the sports are different, but everybody's great in their own lane, you know? And so this is not saying that men can be. I watch women's tennis because I actually, as a whole, I like the game of women's tennis better than men's. I only like watching like the top tier men play. But the women's tennis game is more competitive, especially when you play singles and doubles. I like watching women's soccer more than I like men's soccer because the women win more, you know? And like you said, it's a beautiful thing to watch the fundamentals and whatnot. And so I don't want anybody thinking that we're over here bashing Caitlyn because she is great. But the real, I think, legit debate that I want to pose out there, and it kind of goes hand in hand with this next question, is can you be a GOAT without a championship? Everybody right now is putting Caitlyn into that GOAT conversation because the impact on her that she's had on the game is probably greater than any other women's, but that does not equate GOAT to me. And so what she's done is bring more eyes. She's brought an exciting brand of basketball or brand of game to the game of women's basketball. But there is no, if I'm being equal, if I'm being fair, there's not one person not considered the greatest of any sport that has not won a championship in said sport.
Right. And it's different with women's sports because the pinnacle is college, right? Like right now, a WNBA championship doesn't do anything to solidify you as one of the greatest of your sport, right? And for women, it's the college because the college game is what is the height for women's basketball. Caitlyn has probably got a seat at the table because of how she's helped grow the game of basketball. But no, there's a number, Cheryl Miller is there. Katie Smith from Ohio. Like Katie Smith, Brittany Griner. Like there's so many. And Diana Taurasi. Like there's just
so many great ones. I think I'd have my GOAT. I think it's Brianna Stewart because her resume is unmatched. I mean, she has 4 national championships. She was the most outstanding player in each one of those 4 national championships. She's also a 3-time National Player of the Year. And to add to that, she's already won championships in the WNBA and has won MVPs in the WNBA. So for that's the type of resume that speaks GOAT to me, if you're going to be in that conversation. I understand. Right now, Caitlyn is the flavor of the month, the year, the last 2 years when it comes to the sport. But if I'm truly being fair and taking a step back and not being a prisoner of the moment and recognizing all the talent that came before her, the Candace Parkers, the Cheryl Millers, the Lisa Leslies, the Tamika Hoslaws, the Shamika Hoslaw, and Tamika Catchings. Like there's been so many, Sue Bird, who
Yeah.
many considered and Diana Taurasi, what she's done for the game and her longevity and how long she's been great. So there's a long list of women's basketball players that I think she's going to have to contend with that have a better resume than her.
Well, and you asked the question, it wasn't just exclusive to women's sports. And no, I don't think you can. Like, look at men's sports, right? Nobody in their right mind considers Dan Marino one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time.
Not anymore. Yeah.
Like,
at one point, he was
one of the and again, let me Freudian slip. Nobody considers him like in the Montana Brady, that Patrick Mahomes level, right?
He's just
back in the 90s, before you had this run of quarterbacks winning all these championships. Yes, but nobody in their right mind has, Dan Marino in the top 5 of their all-time GOAT quarterbacks anymore. Why'd LeBron go to Miami?
To win a championship.
Because
to cement his
solidified his legacy
right.
in the GOAT status, right?
Right.
So, no, I don't believe you can be I don't believe you can be in the actual greatest of all time conversation. You can still be a great player, a Hall of Famer, a great at your position, but you're not in the actual, especially in a game like basketball where it's such an individualized sport. You're not in that conversation without the championship.
Exactly. Because basketball is the one sport, and it's not like football. It's not even like soccer. You can have a great player on your team, and if you are legit one of the greatest players in the league, you can pull a whole bunch of people who aren't as good and lead them at least into the playoffs. You have so much effect over the overall game and the outcome of a game in basketball, more so than I think in other team sports, that if you're not doing that on a consistent basis, you can't be considered in that conversation. And so the ones that we consider GOAT candidates are GOATs for multiple reasons, but the cherry on top is obviously the championship. There are some unique exceptions. I think Caitlyn brings what she's done for the game. She's that great, and she's that much of an individual talent that it makes you almost want to consider her, despite these parameters we put up over time as far as who the GOATs are. And that's a testament to her that she's even in the conversation. But if I'm staying true to myself and true to how I judge it, if I'm looking 10 years from now and looking back, am I really going to be like,
it'll be a blip on the radar? And that's what I was going to say. Let me ask you this: has she? Because we won't know until next season, and I'd be willing to put a wager on this. Has she done more for the game, or has she done? And this is not intentional. So people, remember, listening is a skill. Listen to what's coming out of my mouth, all of you out there listening right now. Has she really grown the game, or was it just her at this point? We won't know until next year and we see the numbers comparatively, right? We won't know until we see how many eyeballs follow her to the WNBA. We won't know until we see how many people are watching next year without Caitlyn Clark and Angel Reese in women's college basketball. Again, I think it was just the perfect storm of personality, style of play, right? You're not used to a lot of girls crossover, dribbling between their legs, doing the stuff that she does. Like, that's not been a traditional part of women's basketball. And the most dominant women's basketball player have typically been in the post that we've seen in the past. Diana Taurasi was a little bit different. Even she's a forward, I think.
Yeah, there's all small forward, power forward. So they can shoot mid range and post up.
Right. So did she really grow the women's sport, or was it good for this season? Because we won't know until next year when we see how many people are still following Iowa basketball, women's basketball. How many people are still watching next year? Because you're not just losing her, you're losing Angel Reese, and you're losing. What do people love? What do you and I would have a yearly finals bet on the Cavs and Warriors? You had no ties to the Warriors, whatever, but we love the LeBron-Steph rivalry, right? People, what rivalries left in women's college basketball now?
Well, that's what they got to do. I think maybe Caitlyn drew up the blueprint of how you market these women basketball players. I think Juju at USC, the freshman that had an all-world year this year, I think she's capable of carrying the mantle and keeping this thing going. Will it be as big as Caitlyn? I don't think so.
No, because she's on the West Coast. And I'll just answer that now. Nobody's going to see her enough. You're not gonna.
Yeah.
You're out at USC, and it's the same thing with college with men's college basketball. You don't see the West Coast teams enough.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's amazing how marketable and how many people, and a lot of that has to do with like, NBA on TNT and Sunday games and stuff like that. But what Kobe fell into the perfect storm of being on the Lakers with Shaq, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what Draymond and Steph and Clay did at Golden State of all places, you're normally a West Coast team. You're dead to the eyes on the East Coast because everybody's in bed, past Central Time.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see, but we don't really know. Did she actually grow the game of basketball? You know what was fun for the game of basketball all the time in the past? Diana Taurasi and UConn never losing a game. People couldn't wait to see somebody beat UConn. There was a rooting interest in who's going to be the team to beat UConn because they didn't lose a game in 2-3 years. Now, maybe South Carolina's that team because they finished an undefeated season. But as far as a player goes, we don't know. And Caitlyn was that special combination of personality, skill, middle of the country at Iowa, not from a traditional, UConn, Tennessee, South Carolina women's college basketball powerhouse.
But
it was a good story.
But she also had a adversary and Angel Reese, which
and that plays into it.
That plays into it. And so you had some guys saying Caitlyn was the hero, Angel was the villain, and vice versa. But that kind of dichotomy is what helped grow the sport this year, especially after Angel Reese won, and then you see the clip of Caitlyn Clark doing a little waving off Raven as she's at the 3-point line from last year. I'll give ESPN all the credit in the world. They did a great job of hyping it. They
marketed it. Yep.
They marketed the mess out of it, and people bought in. And it was good to see. It was good to see these women get their just due and see the sport get its credit. And I do think, the question will be answered next year. I think she grew. I think the tide rose. Now, the numbers might not hit the peak that it hit this year, but I think people in general will tune in more so to see who can be the next Caitlyn Clark, who will be able to be carry the mantle. So
I do think to start the season, there's going to be additional interest to start the season, but when they finish the season, I'd be surprised to see, unless you develop another one of those roles, I'd be surprised to see another situation where the women are rivaling the men in TV ratings, in eyeballs, unless you find somebody to carry that individual torch, that rivalry torch. And we want to judge everybody based on the same scale, right? Talking men's sports to women's sports, you cannot do what Angel Reese did either, by the way. You cannot go up there and you can't go up there and cry and boohoo after losing and play a victim card the way that she did. You're upset. You lost. I get it. You can't, in men's sports, you can't do that. So you think you don't get bad, mean things said to you? I'm nobody, and I get bad, mean things said to me every day. So that comes with the territory.
Hers is a little nuanced. Yes, in general, I agree with you. But hers is a little nuanced. Like, there's a couple of things that were happening there. Her last LSU game ever.
It's an emotional moment.
Her having to deal with, and so a lot of reason why this was as big as it was, there was a lot of political stuff tied to this matchup. There was some racial implications tied to this matchup. And I've seen some of the stuff, some of the hate that Angel Reese was getting because of how she conducted herself last year when her and Caitlyn played, and some of the evil stuff that was said. It was a little bit.
There are ignorant ass people out there.
Right. This was a little bit more. This was enhanced. And so I think she had to carry that for the most part, and she did a really good job of it. Her and Caitlyn gets hate too. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Because she complains a lot, or people think she gets preferential treatment. But I don't think this was an apples to apples comparison when it comes to how somebody reacts post game.
Yes, and I'm not talking about just how she reacted post game. It's somebody should have saved her from herself in that regard, because you can't do that. You just, to your point, furthered the game along. It's right, wrong, or indifferent. People are going to have a take. They're going to have a spin. You cannot go up there and do one step forward, two steps back, because now all you did was give the world and you gave everybody the reason to be like, This is why women can't be graded on the same scale as men when it comes to their sports, because men get that all the time. I mean, every single day.
I mean,
that's where it's like your coach, she's still a college athlete. Give her a breath. Don't let her go right up there and air all that out. Like, there's a time and place. I'm not saying you should be quiet about the stuff that you're seeing or being said to you, but post game, like, how many, and we see it with men, you're immediately after a football game, you got somebody shoving a microphone in their face. That's the reality of it. And if you could go back and do it differently, I don't know if she would or she wouldn't. Maybe one day she'll do an interview when she's getting drafted in WNBA team. But it's, to your point, you guys were just the face of almost a whole movement for women's sports. And that diminished it.
See, I don't think it diminished it. And I disagree with you, because I think that was such a unique moment with where women's sports finally came. I don't think her post-game interview diminished anything. I don't think anybody's going to look back on it and be like, that's why I don't watch college basketball, women's college basketball. Or I won't watch it next year because her post-game interview. And so I think you got people on both sides who think, just keep it simple. You don't do that after you lose a game and at all. Regardless of if it's your last college. But then you had somebody like me who's a little bit more empathetic, because I think I understood more where she was coming from. But yes, as a competitor,
because you two have had you two have also had people talk to you about being a sex symbol and stuff.
Yeah, it's tough out here.
Everybody comes to Trey about his outfit and shorts.
Yeah, exactly.
When you put that little dress on, you just do a little turn and
no, like, so I get it. I don't think it took away from her what she's done at LSU or from the rivalry that she had with Caitlyn Clark or the success that she had. I mean, she is a champion. She lost in the Final Four versus her nemesis. And so and dude, the vitriol that came out right after that loss, it was palpable, because it was like, that's
people couldn't wait to pounce on it. Yeah, people couldn't wait to pounce on it.
It was bad. And so, like, that's for that reason alone, I think that was a little bit unique situation.
But it is. But what have we always been as boys growing up playing sports and whatnot? Don't dish it out if you can't take it, right?
Yeah, but she could, and she has, and she had a moment. She had a moment.
Well, that's what I'm saying. She had a moment that was just regrettable in that moment, in my opinion, because you don't go up there and then start airing about how people say sexual stuff to me on Twitter, and then you go put pictures of yourself in a little dress on Twitter for people to say sexual stuff about you. Like, that's where girls have it differently, because it's almost like you're poking the bear. We know how big, like, there are idiots out there, especially living in the comment sections of message boards and stuff. And that's what leads them to want to pounce at people. She didn't do anything wrong. It was just go out there, fudged up guys, like Zach Galifianakis, like, we lost. I'm pissed. I'm sorry. It's over. My last game at LSU. It is what it is. But I guess for me, with her and Caitlyn Clark both, don't give them any reason to take away from what you just did and accomplish. She's the one who actually won the championship a year ago, right? We don't have to have the conversation about, like, if she had the same credentials as Caitlyn Clark in terms of her scoring and stuff like that, she's at that table because she won the championship. That's something she gets to hold above Caitlyn Clark's head for all of time. And if ESPN is smart, they'll market it as such for the WNBA season. They will be the first WNBA game on the schedule when they set the schedule and stuff like that. So, yeah, I just think that there's certain things with women's sports and men's sports where there's, just like what Serena said, where there's a different level of, she doesn't want to play Andy Murray. They have to go through different things in women's sports that men don't have to, and vice versa.
Right. And it's,
so to speak.
It's okay. And it's perfect.
And it's also new in this. It's also new in the social media age.
It is, man. The social media thing is a trip. And it adds to everything. It gives and it taketh away, because without the social media, the money that these kids are getting in college, the NIL deals wouldn't be as big. And
doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist at all, probably. But then you also got to deal with the idiots out there, the sexist.
You know what she needs to do? You know what she needs to do? She needs to go to KD and be like, hey, how'd you use your burner Twitter account? And what mistakes did you make so that I don't get caught? And just start going back at everybody in the comments.
I don't understand these Twitter beasts, man. I can't get into a long, drawn-out conversation trying to respond to my detractors and people who don't like me. It just seems like a waste of time and emotional energy. But it's
not everybody's gonna like you, but we've got diet goals to be worried about. We can't be worrying about Twitter monsters.
I don't
know how a guy like Kevin Durant, who has accomplished like everything there is to accomplish in a sport, to
still get humstrung on some comment on Twitter.
Yes,
on your phone. Yeah,
it just shows how much it can capture you. Like with kids, like kids getting on there and stuff like that. And I guess that's the next thing is Caitlyn Clark, Angel Reese, faces of women's basketball this year, especially college. High schoolers all across. Man, I've got an 11-year-old little girl. You got little girls. Growing up as a boy was easy. You had something you want to take out with somebody, you might scrap a little bit. You're friends again next week. You hate each other the following. Women are mental terrorists. The stuff that girls do to each other and put them through, and now with all the tools of social media and group chats and texts and stuff like that, it's not just like the sexist pig men. It's like a whole other level of like women and dealing I don't know how you would gravitate through all of that.
Dude, that's why my kids,
women's sports,
they're not even allowed on social media until we haven't even decided the age yet. My daughter's about to turn 12. My other just turned 10 last Friday. So they got a while before they get on social media. And it's just because I'm trying to protect them from all the evils that social media. Yeah. There's no positives to social media for kids that age right now anyway.
Not kids. No. With us, we get to come on here. We get to talk about sports and have fun and talk about our diets and foods and drinking and talk to Travel Buddy.
Yep.
Look what I just found. I just found an empty box from my last little party. I'm so sad looking at it. It was sitting on my desk.
Cosmic brownies. Those are so good.
Oh,
is that?
Look at little Debbie.
Tell me that box is empty. That box is empty.
That's my side piece.
It's empty, right? There's nothing.
Yes.
In there. Okay.
That was from my daughter's birthday party that I let her and her two friends have the whole basement and reign to themselves, and she left her box over in my studio area.
Dude, like I had to what's today? Wednesday? On Monday, I took a whole thing of Little Debbie cakes because Ava didn't have her official birthday at school yet. So we're allowed to bring treats up for lunch. And so I had like 8 boxes of Little Debbie's. I had the zebra cakes, the zebra cake rolls, and then I had the little birthday cake ones, which are just okay. But the zebra cake rolls, oh my God. Man, so good.
Let me tell you something.
Dude, how do we get back here? We're doing it again.
In my TikTok world, hold on, I got to get this off my chest real quick. In my TikTok world, they took a box of those zebra cake ones, made a little thing in a pan, and spread them all out one by one in the pan, and then boom, some icing on top of that. And then another one. It was a cake of zebra cakes.
Oh my God.
Cake of zebra cakes with cream cheese icing, sprinkles on the top. Oh.
That sounds glorious. I don't even have a sweet tooth like you. And it sounds amazing.
I'm not gonna lie. I just got a little excited thinking about it. Just got a little bit happy.
Dude, I'm gonna do a hard stop right here. No easy segue. Was there anything that happened football related in the last couple of weeks that we've missed out on?
Probably. About 72. Hold on. About 72 mock drafts, probably.
Oh yeah.
I was so happy for this little sabbatical, so we didn't have to talk mock draft bullshit.
I know you hate
the mock drafts.
No, you hate mock drafts.
Oh, I hate the mock drafts.
But how about grading off seasons? So I don't want to dive deep into this. I just
The
want
off season hasn't even really started yet.
Oh, well,
yeah,
let's
I
say
guess.
free agent offseason before the draft, because it might shift after the draft or whatever. But I just one big piece of news, and actually it's
Okay.
going to lead right into this that happened in football. Diggs got traded to Houston.
That did happen. I'm trying to remember, like, when we left off, because it's spring break, man. It seems like it's been 3 months, but so that's what I'm trying to remember. Like you with the kids snack thing, I'm trying to remember what did we and didn't we get to. Diggs got traded,
which I think Houston thus far has had the best offseason. And even before that, I mean, getting Daniil Hunter to a defensive end from Minnesota. Who else did they get?
Joe Mixon.
Joe Mixon.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's fine. I mean, he's a productive back, and I think he'll work well in that.
He'll catch out of the backfield, and he'll know how to pass protect for C.J. Stroud.
Right.
There's one big thing that came down today that has me excited that we'll get to in a second, and it's not snack related, so we're okay there.
Is it Brazil?
It is.
It is Brazil.
Brazil. I think Stephon Diggs right now is where Jarvis Landry was when he went to Cleveland.
So he can give you a good year.
Yeah, I don't think it's as big a deal as they're making. I don't think it's as big a loss for Buffalo as they're making out to be, not because they lost him, but because they have nobody else there to catch the ball at the moment.
Right.
Like, there's not a lot there.
They got,
but you know how it is. We'll get to training camp, and people are going to get cut. There's going to be more salary cap casualties, especially as we're in a deep wide receiver draft. So to be honest, there's not a lot of difference right now between wide receiver wise between Buffalo and Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's in a better situation than Buffalo because of George Pickens' upside,
right,
and his potential. But there's just Buffalo lost their 1 and 2 with Gabe Davis and Diggs, but really the whole offense.
That's a lot to lose in one offseason.
But the whole offense centers around Josh Allen and whether or not he's going to win or lose you the game anyways in Buffalo.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think they lost some talent. I think this is the perfect year if you're going to lose wide receiver talent with the way the draft is set up, that I think they'll be able to replace a Diggs or at least a Gabe Davis in the draft with one of the talents there.
I think Buffalo is a team that can make a move for a T. Higgins once Cincinnati understands they're going to have to move off of him because they're not going to keep him.
I really want T. Higgins. We won't get him, but I would really love T. Higgins in Pittsburgh. But yeah,
you're not even going to get Tyler Boyd.
We don't want Tyler Boyd. I don't want Tyler Boyd.
Oh.
I'll take Van Jefferson over Tyler Boyd. I'm good.
You're just anti-Pitt right now. Kenny got you all shook up.
I mean, he's a Philly guy anyway. Was he really a Pitt guy? Was he? Now that he's gone, was he really a Pitt guy? Maybe.
No, he wasn't. Yeah, I don't.
But other than, I think Houston had a good offseason.
Listen,
I think
just stay away from Odell. Just stay away from Odell Beckham.
Nah, I think he's in Miami. I think Miami him is like the perfect marriage. It just feels like that's what's about to happen.
I don't think so.
A good number 3, the Waddle and
they're
Tyreek.
Deep at wide receiver though.
Yeah. They got the dudes. They got Cedric Wilson too. Yeah, they are pretty deep.
Yeah, I don't. I can just. Houston could be dangerous, but
I think Houston's already the best team in the AFC South. I don't think it's even close, actually.
Yeah, and everybody gets so worried, rightfully so, about the sophomore slump. So, what is CJ going to do? And
who has had a sophomore slump? Who has been a quarterback that's had as great as a year that CJ had and came back and had a slump? I can't think of any off the top of my head.
Well, Baker did.
Okay, well, you can. But Baker
did.
He had a good year. He didn't have a CJ Stroud year.
I mean, he set the passing touchdown record for a rookie in only 14 games.
Did CJ break it?
I think CJ broke it.
Herbert broke it, and then CJ broke it.
Yes. Yeah. Herbert kind of had a sophomore slump, but that's more team related. Mac Jones had a sophomore slump, and then a junior jump off a bridge because it's not been good for him. He's down in Jacksonville.
We saw what happened.
That
whole class of quarterbacks is backing up quarterbacks.
Dookie. Yeah.
Except for Trevor Lawrence. He's the only one that's still stuck.
You know who didn't have a sophomore slump is Trey Lance, because the poor guy hasn't seen the field ever.
Yeah. Yeah. Ever. I mean, what he had 5 games in San Fran. He's like, nope.
If that, yeah.
Nope.
Got broken.
But
yeah, I don't know. I think it's going to be
is what makes it safer to bet that CJ Stroud won't. Because a lot of times when somebody has a good year like that, their offensive coordinator leaves or some kind of coaching happens. The fact that Slowick is still there, he gets to be in the same offense 2 years in a row.
And he's it is a bad division, so that'll help. And CJ, when he was at Ohio State, it was always kind of like he wasn't that traditional, over the top, rah Buckeye type in a sense. But I think that suits him more in the pros. Like he's just a calm, even keeled, moment doesn't get to him type dude.
Right.
And that will help for his purpose is pushing better as long as he's healthy. And that's what a lot of sophomore slumps come down to is guys getting hurt. Nothing's really stood out too much. I mean, did Atlanta have a good offseason? No.
I mean,
Dallas has probably had the worst.
Dallas has had the worst.
Atlanta's
definitely improved. The last 2 years, they set out to. I thought last year they did a good job improving that defense. You really saw the benefits of that last year. And then they went and got a quarterback. I don't know how Kirk is going to look after an Achilles. That doesn't seem to affect quarterbacks with his type of skill set. He's not going to be scrambling and whatnot.
Did you hear what they wanted him to pay to take the number 8 from Pitts?
What was it?
They said he would have had to buy up all the number 8 Pitts jerseys that were out there.
And how many is that?
$750,000 worth.
Woo!
$750K for him to get the number 8. The NFL said I saw him on a podcast talking about it, and he said that the NFL wanted him to buy up all the number 8 Pitts jerseys in order to get the number from Pitts because of their jersey deal or whatever. So yeah, I'd have said no too. Although he just got another $180 million. What's $750K? Donate those freaking jerseys with the loser of the Super Bowl t-shirts to somebody and let them have some Pitts jerseys, Kurt. Come on. Make it rain number 8s down in Atlanta.
Yeah. Diggs only had to pay $100K to get the number, whatever his number is.
14? Did you get 14?
Yeah. But I think there are 2 other teams that I think really improved this offseason. I hate to say it, but Baltimore and Derrick Henry is the perfect marriage. And that's actually, if he's Derrick Henry's going to, I mean, it's right up his alley as far as what kind of run game Derrick Henry likes to run, but he'll get a reprieve because he has Lamar Jackson there. And he won't be asked to carry the load like he was in Tennessee for so many years. Just got to wonder if he has tread left on the tires, which has started to look like it had worn thin in the last year. But I think he could be rejuvenated in Baltimore. And then Philly, signing Saquon, getting Kellen Moore, I thought was a big pickup for them to be OC because I think he'll work well with Jalen Hurts. They lost Jason Kelsey. That's the part actually that's going to be the most concerning. When you lose a leader of that,
their line was already not that great.
They were good. I mean, between Lane Johnson, they got a dude. They had somebody in the wings the whole time, and Cam Jerkins to come, and they got Dickerson still at left guard. So they have some talent up front, but losing Kelsey is going to hurt. So,
what do you think happens with Rashee Rice?
Man,
because I think
Dude.
that's another. They signed Marquise Brown.
Mhm.
The Chiefs did, but Pat's got to be like over there, like, damn, can I just get somebody to throw the ball to, like, other than Travis Kelce?
Dude, that's just young, dumb stuff at its finest, man. Speeding, car racing, and the least inconspicuous car of all time in a Lamborghini versus a Corvette in broad daylight, mind
Yeah,
you. And then leaving the scene, which lets me know that I'm just speculating. I don't know, but he might have had something in his
reportedly.
he might have had something in his system, and actually him leaving might have been the smartest thing for him to do. Even though I'm not a proponent of avoiding anything when you're doing something wrong. I prefer you take it straight on, but that might be a smart business decision for him not
Right.
to get caught with a DUI, which probably would have happened. And then his punishment from not only the law in Texas, which is pretty strict about that stuff, but also the NFL might have been a lot more had he been caught under the influence. So that's just dumb, dude. With everything that happened recently with people driving fast, what happened in Vegas with
Henry Ruggs.
And dude, he's just coming off this rookie year, about to be the man. Mahomes' number one target, and you got to wonder, is he going to be able to start the year? He's young. He's rich, I guess, by young standards, and he probably won't get the book thrown at him this first time around, but he's going to miss the first 2 or 3 games, and so that's my bet. So you got to wonder, like, how is Casey going to approach the draft now? Like, were they always going to get a wide receiver? Are they thinking about trading for somebody? So
they've got to have better than what they had last year. Like Patrick Mahomes looked like he was about to snap a lot last season.
right.
Like he was ready to go off. I don't feel bad for a guy that's already won umpteen Super Bowls and MVPs.
Especially in our conference, right? Like, whatever.
Right. Like you could lose a couple more.
It's that tough luck, man. You know,
You're great. You got Clyde Edwards-Helaire back. But right? I don't know, man. I think we're gonna start getting the Chiefs fatigue again already.
You think so? I think Patrick Mahomes and his Travis Kelce, especially with the Kelce overload with the Swifties and whatnot. It was a lot, considering that they weren't that good, but they ended up proving their worth by winning the Super Bowl. But
I told you a long time ago that Patrick Mahomes to me was always the Steph Curry of the NFL. He just does it different, looks different. He changed the quarterback position in a lot of ways. It's not like when Tom Brady was doing it as the best quarterback in the game. It's different. And it's you can just be done now. You're not even 30. I mean,
you mean done now? You just want him to leave? Just go?
Yeah, just go like Jim Brown. Like Taylor Swift has been a Chiefs fan for 8 months and she already got a Super Bowl. When is my time?
Here we go. Here we go. Now we're getting out to the
I'm jelly. I'm jelly. I'm a little bit jealous. I'm hangry. You got me on this diet that I haven't even started yet. I'm just thinking about how hangry I'm going to be during football season. And
dude, like I said,
I'm going to be sick of the Chiefs. I'm going to be sick of the Chiefs.
We got to get it right now so that we don't have to stay on this strict diet come football season. I need all the snacks too. Not just I need all the cheese. I
hear the pain in your voice. I need it too.
I need it too. This is me just entering this partnership with you because you're going to be just as accountable to me as I am to you. All right. I'm not doing this by myself, damn it. And you're not doing it by yourself. And so, yes, I've been there before. I've done it before, but I also got refat. I got refat. And so,
is that even a word? I got refat?
Yeah, I got refat. So I know how to get down. I don't know how to stay down though. And so this is the conundrum that we find ourselves in.
This is the problem with like the being in the different cities though, because what are we really going to do? Just publicly shame each other every time we come here? Like, yeah, You
Pretty
remember
much.
at 10 p.m. you sent me the picture of that beer when you was out with your buddies? You get down and give me 15 push-ups right now on camera.
Yes, actually, that's a great idea.
No, that's a terrible idea.
Dole out our punishment live on the podcast.
I'm doing push-ups.
Have our crew count them down for you. Count them out. You like Major Payne? You remember Major Payne? One of my favorite movies of all time.
Great movie. Great.
Gotta give me 50. Count them out.
Count them out. Oh man. Before we wrap up, because I don't know, man, we got sports this weekend. You guys got sports this weekend?
Yeah, dude.
Soccer
we have
for the kids.
4 soccer matches. Once again, we're back in the throes of soccer season, and I have 2 tennis matches. Get my Andy Roddick on.
Did I tell you last year when I told you about doing the 35 and up baseball league last year I was in? These guys text me, "Are you playing this year?"
He said no. Why not?
Maybe
man?
next year. Maybe next year when I'm back in better shape. Because, man, listen, when I played baseball as a kid, I pitched, played center field, little third base. Last season when I played with these guys in this 35, first of all, it's a wood bat league. God made aluminum for a reason. Never ever use wooden bats.
What? Why were you using wood bats? That hurts my hands.
Rules. It's the rules.
Them the rules.
Then these guys are still throwing 80 plus miles an hour.
Oh,
it's like
nope,
all
never
the guys
mind.
who used to
you're
play
right.
college baseball.
Never
so
mind.
I'm out there trying to hold my own. But the worst of it was it's 9-inning games, Trey. And I signed up for this thing, and we was getting like 15, 16 guys on our team. And I would play like 3-4 innings, maybe 5 max a game. No, every game but 2, we only had 9 or 10 guys show up. So I had to play all 9 innings. I only played first base. But there were days that our team would pick the dugout furthest away from first base, and I would have to run across the field to go to my position.
This is all part of, you should definitely do this now. It's part of your challenge to try to lose some poundage. Not all the poundage.
By the 6th inning, I would just sit there like I wouldn't even get out there in time to warm the infield up. I'm just trotting across the field.
Dude, that's the great thing about tennis, man. They got levels to this, man. I am in the safe level where I'm not going against these former college players that hit the ball 80 miles an hour on their forehand side and serve down the tee and out wide. No, I'm not trying to do that. I'm with 3-5. I might be going against a 50 or 60-year-old. That is fine. That is fine. I'm going against some beginners. That is fine. I'm getting better. That's all I'm worried about is self-improvements and getting some type of a workout in that doesn't require me being on a treadmill or elliptical. Because that shit
treadmills and ellipticals are the worst.
They get boring.
It's so boring.
Dude. And so I appreciate it. I like doing it sometimes when I just need to get a 15, 20 minutes. We got elliptical right over there. Tell me how often it gets used. You know?
You just wave it every once in a while. How you doing?
We have a Peloton. I used to be Peloton was my
I remember
jam.
you putting your updates on the Peloton.
You see where that's going. So I need to do something competitive to keep my motivation going so I can achieve these weight loss goals. And tennis is my jam right now. And so when I'm playing tennis, it makes me want to get on the elliptical and do other stuff to get better at tennis. And so
that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's where I found golf.
Oh, golf. And you can walk the courses up there, at least in some places.
I like my cart with my beer, my hot dog at the turn.
Dude, why did you bring
up I'm just telling you how I get my competitive fix in.
Food finds its way into every subject.
Listen.
Food.
Also on my TikTok algorithm, I've done bypass golf and I see these competitive putt-putt leagues now. I'm like, oh, that's all me. These guys got masters tournaments for putt-putt. And I'm like, oh, that just sounds phenomenal.
I did. I seen some of those. Yeah. You should do pickleball, man. Pickleball.
I'm thinking about pickleball. I might do like a softball league. That would be fun. Me and the wife talked about doing like a co-ed softball league. Because that you're at least getting out, getting the juices flowing a little bit. But no, seeing 80-mile-an-hour fastballs, 70-mile-an-hour fastballs, almost getting hit by them, playing 9 innings. No.
Mixed league pickleball. You can play with the wife. That might not be a good thing, but at least you get out there and play. I'll guarantee she'll like it. Christina likes it. You should do it. I think you'll have fun.
All right.
Yeah,
I'm gonna get myself in trouble here. I'm gonna get myself in trouble here.
Do it.
Have you ever seen the movie Forgetting Sarah Marshall?
Of course.
Or no, I'm sorry. It's got the same guy in Forgetting Sarah Marshall, but it's I Love You Man with Paul Rudd and the guy from
I forget, yeah.
They go out on the double date of like golfing, and he's like, "This is my nightmare." She hits the ball into his shin.
Yes. That scene is hilarious. Oh.
I took my wife to Top Golf, and she got a negative score.
What? You can do that?
Oh, you'll have to ask her about it. You talk to Liz. I took her to Top Golf once, and she got a negative score, and we were on the second level because she kept hitting it into the wrong bays, and she got a negative score. She took a picture of it. So we've progressed from that to we're going to go golf together and ride around the cart. You get to putt. Like, I got to do all the work to get us to the green, and you get to putt. We're a long way, though, from – so now we've played tennis together before. My wife playing tennis is about the most hilarious thing ever. We were like 27 at the time. So pickleball could be fun. Pickleball could be fun.
Pickleball is a sport for the non-athletic, man. Like, it gives them confidence. It works wonders.
Now, are you and your wife on the same team when you do this?
Well, she does not. Well, no, she can't be on my team. I have a standard, and she doesn't meet. And she understands this. She knows she married a competitive, like czar. Like I am.
Oh,
bad.
I know.
I am bad when it comes to, like, we can't play card games together. She can't be on my team because I need to win. And so she picked up on that real fast, and we're on separate teams. Now, if she ever steps her game up a little bit, I might consider bringing her on to play with me.
No excuses. Play like a champion.
But I will work with her one-on-one, trying to help her get better. But as far as playing another couple, no, we can't do it.
Oh, yeah. We don't even play beer pong together. We're back to drinking. We don't even play beer pong on the same team because I got to win.
Yeah.
So here, little story. My wife's in college, and it's amazing we're married to this day because this is how competitive I get with stuff. We had one of those like pop-a-shot basketball hoops in the living room of my apartment in Fort Myers. And we would do different stuff. And she beat me a couple times, pissed me off, right? So then we're playing again. Like, pop-a-shot's the one thing she can always beat me at. For whatever reason, she always beat me at pop-a-shot, the little basketball game. And my brother's standing there. He's counting the shots and the baskets, got the timer. And then she's about to beat me again. And I'm just like, son of a – and I spike it right in the face.
Oh, my God.
I blocked the shot right in the face.
That's just abuse. I always know that's being competitive. That's just – dude, that's
I just blocked it. I just went to give it the little Dikembe Mutombo, not realizing I got full palm on the ball.
Wow.
Right back into her face. So, yeah, she always beats me at pop-a-shot. So, yeah, we're very competitive when it comes to – that's my worry, though, about playing, like, tennis or pickleball is, like you, I'm there to win, okay? And if she's on the other side of that net, you're getting full –
yeah, you're getting it all. Yeah.
You're getting the hammer.
Yeah, I don't know you. Like,
there's no tip. It's full sledgehammer.
Exactly. I don't know who you are. I didn't marry you. This other person on the side of the court. You are the enemy, and you shall go down.
And the kids get it the same, by the way, in this house. Video games, card games, Uno, all of it. I just straight laid my son last couple weeks ago with like 8+4s in a row. Pick up those Uno cards. No mercy, Cobra Kai.
I love it too because my kids have picked up on it and they showed me no mercy, and I don't want any.
Yeah, no,
but they come at me hard, and I appreciate that. It's like a proud dad. Just
Yep. And it's not just my kids. Like some of my buddies' kids. I've one buddy, his son. I've known him since I've known his son his whole life. I've known this friend of mine since I was 16 years old. His son is now a sophomore in high school, right, on the varsity baseball team. And he would always want to like go out to the field and pitch to me and stuff. Last time he did, he was like 13. I took him yard from the left and right side of the plate. So that's the last time I would let him pitch me because he's a varsity pitcher now. He's like, when are we going to go out again? Never. I got the one up on you. Never going out with you again. You're going to give me some high heat right up under the chin. I'm holding this over you till the day that I die. The last time you pitched to me. So it's not just my kids, it's not just my wife. That's the mean competitive streak that I have in me. And right, wrong, or indifferent, it's how it is.
Win at all costs.
You know who doesn't have that mean competitive streak? Apparently, American basketball players, because you've got something to get off your chest. Dude, we're falling behind the wayside.
We are, man. NBA players, man. American NBA players, at least the best.
You look so disgusted.
Dude, basketball, if you know me, basketball is my childhood favorite sport. It still is my favorite sport to play. Tennis has caught up really fast. But basketball, if I was healthy and my ankles were ankling, I would be able to play basketball competitively. And so, but I can't. But I still have a love for it. And it disappoints me to see that this country of ours is producing second-tier talent when it comes to the NBA. Because right now, everybody at the top of every award that's going to be won, with the exception of a few, are going to be from overseas. And it has been. You know, our last American MVP was James Harden, like 5 or 6 years ago.
Wow, was it really?
Yes, James Harden. And we all know it's been a while since James Harden has been playing MVP type basketball. So that's like a half a decade. And so for the last 5 years, it's been Jokic twice. It was Embiid last year. It had been Giannis twice. And so
it'll probably be Luka this year.
No, it's going to be Jokic again this year. It's going to be Jokic.
If they don't got Jokic fatigue.
It's Jokic or SGA from OKC. I think are going to be the top two. And so, so we got the MVP is going to be Jokic. The points per game leader will be Luka. Rebounds is going to be Sabonis. Technically, he was born in Seattle, but he has Lithuanian blood. He's the son of our diva Sabonis. And so he's pretty much overseas. Even though he's American, he's overseas pretty much.
No, yeah,
and then Shai Gilgeous-Alexander for the Oklahoma City Thunder leads and steals. And then Gobert or Wemby is going to win Defensive Player of the Year. And then Wemby's definitely going to win blocks and Rookie of the Year. And so the only thing left out there for somebody to win, Steph is going to win 3-pointers like he always does. And I think Tyler Halliburton, which is last name, maybe
it's not even awards. It's not even awards. Nobody
it's like an assist.
Who shot the most 3-pointers?
No, like most 3-pointers made in the game. He'll get that, and then it's not even an award, but it's just a stat.
No,
it's like a significant stat.
We're just LeBron's going to get the most minutes played this year. Like we're going to give him a trophy for that.
Assist,
just like the bubble championship the Lakers won.
Right. So
how long ago does that seem?
That seems like ages ago. Dude, I think it's going to be an exciting NBA playoffs. Don't get me wrong. And I think because the European players and the players overseas are spread out amongst all the countries in the world, that when it comes to the Olympics this summer, I think we'll still be the favorite to win it all, as we should be. So when I say we're second-tier talent, I'm being facetious. But as far as the top players in the league, consistently the last few years, they've all been European. And even this next draft, the top 6, 4 out of the top 6 are European, are overseas. They might not all be from Europe, but
here's what I attribute it to. The college game doesn't prepare people for the NBA anymore, even if it ever really did. But Luka was a professional basketball player for years before coming to the NBA. Like the Euro game the other thing I attribute it to is the NBA has gone so far down the road of being an offensive center game. And being a soft league, that was always European basketball. European basketball was always soft. I don't know how many times I remember watching Zydrunas Ilgauskas at 7'3" do a layup. Dunk the ball, you big soft bitch. See, that was my childhood screaming at the television, watching him miss a layup at 7'3". Dunk the ball. But that's the way the NBA has gone to a soft finesse league. And that has always resonated more with the European game. It's just, coupled with the big men I mean, you got the 3-second rule, defensive 3 seconds, so you got a wide open lane most of the time. And the big men are just handling the ball like you can't hand check or anything. So there's
Yeah.
nothing to stop a big man from just backing you down literally from the half court line in if you need to, if you're Jokic, and then you pass it out to the wing when they come up to double you. So it's the rules of the game. Europeans have always gone into professional basketball earlier than Americans. And the NBA has just gotten soft, which lends to that.
So I think I agree with a couple of those points. I think the NBA and the rule changes and their insistence on growing the game internationally, I think them softening rules was purposeful because they wanted to attract eyes from overseas. They wanted the TV ratings from Europe and Africa and all that other places. And so they had to make the game more European friendly to the eyes. I think the biggest culprit is, and it kind of lends itself to the kids getting a chance to play pros overseas at an early age, but the development of kids in youth sports and what their emphasis is placed on.
Yeah.
I remember growing up in AAU, and it was an honor to be selected to an AAU team. Like
so oversaturated now.
It's so oversaturated. If you have $1,500, you can play for an AAU team.
You can find a team.
And they don't practice. All they do is schedule a whole bunch of tournaments and they scrimmage.
Show up and play. Yep. There's no drills. There's nothing that gets them better. And that's why it's very important if you're going to be a kid or you're going to be a parent to put your kid in those sports, AAU. Even my daughter plays travel softball. My son played baseball. Like even the different stuff that they do with that, you have to find the right team that actually puts the emphasis on
development.
Practice. Like development. My daughter's softball team, she's only 11, and they're saying that they bark out of practices. Practice is hard, so the games are fun.
Yeah.
And so many other youth sports, it's the opposite. They look to develop you in the games and not practice. And
you see where
that's not what sports ever was.
Right.
That's not what sports was when we were kids.
And you see some youth programs get it right, and you see the benefits of that. And so one of the youth, and I might be a little biased because my daughter's in it right now, but she's in a sports league called GSA Soccer, Gwinnett Soccer Academy. And they do a fantastic job. She practices 3 days a week, and then she has games on the weekend, and they drill. They drill. And so we've had professionals come and make it to the U.S. women's national team out of this area. And you see the benefits that they get from the training. And so, and the practicing versus just playing in tournaments all the time. And basketball is just different for whatever reason, because there's so much sponsorship money out there that coaches just want to find whoever's already the best in the area. Come play for my team. We'll give you this. We'll play in front of these people, in front of these eyes. They don't really develop the team chemistry or the things that you need in order to develop into a top tier type of basketball player. And that's why only the elite, the Cooper Flags or whatever, are the ones that get publicized. And when they make it to the league, they're still not as pro ready as these Europeans are. So that's just my little 2 cents. I was being a little facetious saying we suck, but we're not. The gap between American basketball and overseas basketball has closed. There's no more gap left. If those guys can come from over there and come over here and be the best players in the best league already, you don't see the same.
Where it's different is like those countries don't have they don't have like, it's not just one, like we're one country still. We're huge compared to a lot of those countries.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like coming from one country. Like all the individual countries can't compete with us, but
right.
USA versus the world, to your
versus
point,
the world.
That gap is non-existent.
Yes. And there was a huge gap during the early Dream Team days. And now it's closed. Like you have certain countries that actually have enough pro players that come from them, like the Spains and the Brazils back when what's my guy for the Spurs? Manu Ginobili. Yeah, Argentina. Maybe it was Argentina that had a nice squad and like like I mentioned, Spain, who always had the Gasols, and like a couple of other, like Australia, who has a lot of players come from there that have dual citizenship. So yeah, the gap is closed in basketball, and I'm worried because we saw what happened with baseball. Baseball is truly a melting pot now of like Major League Baseball specifically.
You don't got to be worried about that though. It's baseball has a marketing problem. Baseball does a terrible job marketing their players.
This is true.
And their very best players all play on the West Coast, to our point we were talking about earlier. And the other thing that baseball has a problem of is their very best players very rarely translate to team success. Mike Trout was the best player in baseball for how long? Never sniffs the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
If you're one of the star players in the NBA, you're in the playoffs, which means you've at least got several primetime games where they can display your talent. Baseball's TV deal is terrible. So it won't ever be the same as baseball because it's also basketball is so much more of an individual star sport. Baseball stars are just kind of born out of thin air. Like we got to follow LeBron James from junior and high school up, right?
Yeah.
You get to follow all these players from their college or their high school. Like they're put on the radar. Yeah, very early.
Yeah.
Baseball players like, oh, he's sweet. Who the hell is like the only player I can remember in recent memory that was like, oh yeah, he's gonna be great. He's gonna be a phenom and turned out good. And even he's bounced around to several teams is Bryce Harper. Bryce Harper, I remember hearing about him when he was in high school. Yeah. So you don't really follow the trajectory of baseball players like you do the NBA. So the NBA will always be fine there. But
Travel Buddy brings up a good point. He said makes them better and better at the coaches. And you can see a lot of professional former coaches in all the leagues go over there to coach up the European and overseas players. So, I mean, that's a big part of it too. I didn't even know that.
Yep.
But
speaking of Manu, and you brought up Brazil, before we go, I want to ask you, when you were playing, I breathed a sigh of relief. I know a lot of Browns fans are going to be upset because Adam Schefter broke that will be the Eagles and somebody, not the Browns, I forget off the top of my head now, playing that Brazil game the Friday to start the NFL season. So you have Thursday Night Football, then Friday, September 6th, I think it is, you'll have a game in Brazil.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a terrible idea. I think we already have trouble with the fields and stuff that we're putting the players on here in America. As a fan, give me all 1 p.m. games. With Deshaun and everything else that's going on in Cleveland, I want zero more distractions. I don't need any other kind of circus going around. Definitely don't need his first game back to be on national television after coming off an injury and Flacco-mania and all the crap that happened in Cleveland this past year. So as a fan, I'm relieved the Browns are not in that game. But as a player, how can any player be excited about the thought of playing a game in Brazil, especially to start the season?
Because it's Brazil, man. Are you serious? Do you not
I've never been to Brazil.
Do you not know the reputation that precedes Brazil?
I know that Medellin is very dangerous.
Say what?
I know that Medellin is very dangerous. Or is that Colombia?
That is not Brazil. Get your South American geography up, man. Come on. Medellin. You never watched Narcos and whatnot? No, man. This is not the same place. This is where the Olympics were.
Same, but different. Same.
No, Brazil is like the land of beautiful women, apparently. So I'm sure they're very excited to go down there.
Yeah, that's exactly what my quarterback needs.
I know. It's exactly
that's exactly what the Browns need.
Dude, I would be excited to go play. I've never had the chance to do an international game. It's one of the things that I regret during my career because they were in the works of making it happen. But I wanted to go to like Mexico City. I think they're going to do that one time this year as well. In Brazil, it's just the experience of getting to go to a land that you might not otherwise go to, and just to play. Especially the first game of the year, they'll have a Friday night game, and then they'll have a longer.
Where is it? Rio?
Yeah, Rio de Janeiro. I think that's where it is. And so, yeah, I mean, it seems exciting as heck to go Brazil and start the season out. There's going to be their fans down there. How they watch soccer in South America. If it's anything like that, the atmosphere is going to be electric.
They're gonna be vuvuzelas.
There's going to be they're going to cater to the players very well down there. No, that seems exciting. I understand from a fan perspective, you just want your players to be ready for a 1 o'clock game. Don't mess with the routine. Be here, be there. I don't need any other travel plans. Just all 1 o'clock games. Get into your routine. I understand, but as a player perspective, this thing is pretty exciting.
We're not superstitious, but we're a little stitious. And first week of the season, we got to get off on the right foot. It sets the whole tone. I'm gonna be svelte, so I'm gonna be having some snacks. I'll be looking forward to some beverages.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if I get an 8 p.m. game on a Friday night, do you understand the danger that ensues with having an open Friday night?
Will there be any less danger now that the Browns are playing? It's football, baby. It's like pizza.
No. That's what I mean. But I can be happy. But come about 10:30 when the Browns are getting blown out and the shots just start.
That means your Saturday. That means our pop me up might not go as smoothly the next day.
And then I'm sitting there watching a Buckeye game on Saturday, like what's going on? And they got a new quarterback and a whole new thing going on too. And it's just miserable. And then Sunday, you know what the worst thing about a Thursday night game is?
What's that?
Sunday rolls around, you're not excited at all. Because then I'm just binge gambling to help my heart at that point from all the disappointments earlier in the week. I'm just sitting there firing off parlay after parlay, like because not only just American television watched the Browns get embarrassed by the Eagles, but all of Brazil and Southern America and Jesus, because he's standing there looking over
right there, looking down.
That giant statue pointing at the Brown sideline, like, you losers.
You shall, like Gandalf. You shall.
You shall. So yeah, I like the 1 p.m. Sunday game because it's if you lose, you get sad, you watch a little afternoon game, then you go to sleep, you start your week. I do not. You and I talked about this before. I don't like I don't mind a Thursday night game, but the Monday night game is tough.
Yeah, Monday night game is tough.
We'll have to talk about that closer to the season because it's just you're excited all weekend long, and then you got to go to work, and then you stay up till midnight watching the game, and then you got a whole week of work left after the Monday night game.
This is true, but we'll delve in more detail as the season approaches because I'm just excited about football, period. And we still got a good 4 months out. So
we got 4 months left.
Yeah.
Did you get what is the date on the football season to start this year?
It's September 5th.
They have been moving it back. It's the 5th, right?
Yeah.
Because this past year was like the 12th?
It felt like it was the 12th. So Labor Day must be on the 1st this year.
I think so.
It's always after Labor Day. So
Thursday after Labor Day, right?
Yep.
Yeah, man. I'm excited. We'll have lots of stuff to do. We got some maybe potential news for all of you as well, where we'll be distributing, and then we got a couple trips planned where we gotta get some swag out to people.
Oh yeah. When we get some swag, we're gonna throw a contest out there, see who's gonna be part of the Pod Me Up family.
Yeah, we get that out there, and then maybe it'll be a contest where people got to send me their most. I'm living vicariously through the people now, Trey. Like I want to see your snacks, your delicious foods, as I go through this summer of Svelte, the summer of Svelte 24.
I won't tip you. I won't be like Ben Stiller in Dodgeball with the donut in front of him, hooking up the cables to his nipples. As he tries to eat that bite. You remember that scene when he tries to eat that bite of that donut? Yes. And he buzzes himself. So,
no one makes me bleed my own blood.
Classic.
Before we go, I want to play one more thing for all of you, and you especially, because we are on
Hump Day.
What day is it?
It's Hump Day.
Say it again.
Hump Day. Hump Day.
That's my baby girl.
Day.
It is Hump Day. Make sure you get your hump
day.
I'm rounded and mounded, and it's Pound Town tonight, baby. So.
All right, man. I'll talk to you later.
All right, now.